This is John T for the Boxing Voice. I have to say I'm delighted to be joined by Kevin Rooney JR of Matchroom USA. How are you, Kevin?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Sean.
Good, good. Well, thanks for coming on. Are you out in Florida at the moment? Is that right?
Yes, we're out in it's actually Davie, Florida. It's right outside of Fort Lauderdale, not far from Miami. We're here at the Hard Rock Hotel. This is our second show we've done. We did the Devin Haney Gamboa fight here, and now we're doing Danny tonight. So it's a beautiful hotel, but we have our bubble set up in like one little area. It's different, you know. I mean, times are different, and yeah, the hotel is great. The venue's great. We're excited to be here for tonight, and hopefully one day we'll be able to come back here with fans. It's almost a brand new arena, and it will set up beautifully. So we're excited to be working with these guys. We're excited to be promoting shows in general. But yeah, we're waiting for when we can get some fans back.
Excellent stuff. Well, for anyone who isn't aware yet, the name kind of gives it away, but Kevin is the son of Kevin Rooney Sr., who famously took Mike Tyson to his world title in 1986 against Trevor Berbick. So in a little bit, we'll have a chat about the Tyson fight at the weekend and your experiences. Maybe, I know you would have been young then, but what experience and memories you have of Tyson. But before we do that, let's have a little chat about yourself. What got you, silly question saying what got you into boxing. I think that's obvious, but maybe your career around boxing, because I think you've done quite a few bits since you've been in there.
Yeah, for sure. So it was, growing up around the sport, I always, had a love and passion for it. Obviously, I mean, I grew up in the gym. My dad says, I think the first actual sparring match I had when I was 5, I was hitting the bag when I was like 3. So growing up around the sport, I knew I'd never really wanted to get into the training side. I wanted to kind of work on the business side, promotional, managerial, went and got my degree from Fordham University. And, I was just trying to find a way to break in. And Joe DeGuardia actually was my first job in the boxing industry. Went to Fordham Prep, lived in the Bronx where Fordham was, kind of just like reached out to him on a cold call, did a little bit of interning work for them. And then that was my first kind of foray into the business side of boxing. And then I was there for, I think about 3 years, started making a little bit of name for myself on the business side. And then I jumped over, I started working for Lou DiBella. I was with Lou, throughout Sergio Martinez's heyday. It was very exciting times there. I was there for like 6.5 years, and then started working for Matchroom in the summer of 2018, which is like right after they had announced their Dazn deal. They were, looking to obviously start doing a lot more in the U.S. I was U.S. based. I had a relationship with Frank. I had a little bit of a relationship with Eddie. So it was I was fortunate. You know what I mean? It's a great experience for me. I love working for them. We joke around a lot, but like we think we're the best promotional company in the game. We try to do things to a certain level, and that starts at the top. From Barry down to Eddie to Frank, and it's exciting. It's challenging because they expect perfection, but it's exciting.
Yeah, Eddie's known for his work ethic. I've just read his book actually. If you haven't read it yet, it's very interesting. Read.
That's an everyday thing for us. They have high expectations, but it gets the most out of you. So it's exciting times for all of us.
So what kind of things do you actually do for Eddie and Matchroom then?
So my title is event manager. So I handle a lot of the logistics, from the fight week activities, setting up the press conferences, setting up the weigh-ins. Obviously now with these bubble situations that we're in, a lot goes into that. We have to build out gyms and everything is just closed circuit in that sense. But then something that Eddie and Frank, rely on me for a lot is to have a personal relationship with the fighters. Obviously Eddie is the man and everyone wants to be, attached to him, but especially with him being in the UK, it's hard. And I mean, we have a gigantic roster of fighters, especially now with the travel restrictions, it's hard for Eddie to get over here. So, to have that personal relationship with the fighters, take on almost a managerial role in the promotional entity, and just be there, especially for our younger guys, these kids that are coming up, they're not used to all this. They're not, haven't experienced it at the professional level. So just kind of being there and being that, shoulder for them to lean on and kind of walk them through things and just, helping them in any way that we can, making them feel, special, making them feel the love. That's something that Matchroom, really instills in us and in the company, is that, we want the fighters to appreciate us, and we want us, to show them that, they are special. And without them, we wouldn't, have jobs. This is, we're here because of them. So, it's important for us to have them feel that and understand that.
That's a really good role you've got there. It sounds very similar to what actually Frank does over here in the UK. So Frank does a similar kind of thing, and Eddie does a lot of that himself. So it's a very senior role in the team. So well done for that. And it sounds like you've really earned your stripes, because although some people might think, oh, well, he was born into it because of who Dad was, and that's obviously given you a head start because you would have been in and around people, but you've worked for sure. Your stripes working for Ludabella, definitely. And I'm sure that gave you a lot of experience. Did you have a short stint of managing? I think you managed Chris Algieri for a while.
Yeah, I worked with Chris on like the business management side. It was funny when I was working for Joe DeGuardia, and when I was actually fighting myself, they had signed Chris Algieri. So Chris and I, again, just had this bond, which, again, same thing I was saying with Eddie and Frank. They want me to instill this relationship with the fighters, and being that I do fighting background, I fought myself. It's easier for me to relate to these guys and say, like, I've been there. I've had to cut weight before. I know what you feel like on fight night. So when you're asking them for things and it's like, you hear it a lot, boxer, well, that guy, he's never got punched in the face. Why am I going to listen to him? So, again, going back to that, I had this good relationship with Chris, and Chris would come to my fights and I would go to Chris's fights. And after he beat Provodnikov, Chris didn't really have a manager. He didn't have an advisor. He was doing everything on his own. He was still personal training clients, leading up to the Provodnikov fight. And then after that, everything changed for him. And he said, look, I can't do this on my own anymore. I trust you. Like, let's, work something out where you can come on and kind of just manage my day-to-day, manage my training camps. And it was good. It was exciting times. I was with him for the Pacquiao fight, for the Amir Khan fight, for the Eric Bonet fight, and then the Spence fight. And again, Chris and I are still super close. We work with each other. We talk to each other all the time. But yeah, it was exciting times for sure.
Yeah, both from New York as well.
Yeah, I'm originally upstate, but he's from Long Island. But yeah, Chris is great. You know what I mean? He's doing this thing now. He's doing some stuff with Top Rank. He's done some stuff for us on social. He still wants to, I think he's still ranked like third in the WBO. It's just, an unfortunate situation that we're in right now with COVID. And, he kind of, had starting to pick up some steam again after about 2 years out. And then he had the Tommy Coyle fight. And that's unfortunately the last fight for him. You know what I mean? He was trying to work his way back into a world title shot, and we hit pause, the world hit pause. So it's, everyone's a little bit frustrated, but it feels like we're kind of getting things back together, and hopefully we'll get back to some sort of more normal in 2021.
Yeah, hopefully that vaccine will be here and then he can get his career going again. But it sounds like you're busy in the meantime. So look, hopefully, if you won't mind, maybe have a little chat of whatever memories you might have of being very small, admittedly, when Tyson won his title and Dad looked after him. Dad's not very well at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah, Dad has he has Alzheimer's, early dementia. He's been battling that now for a few years. He's still got a personality. He's still funny. He still likes to flirt with women. So that hasn't all changed. But yeah, it's a tough disease. It's a tough sickness. And, unfortunately they don't have a cure for it now. And there's, it doesn't really get any better, but, he's managing it the best way we can. Tyson, they split up in 88. So I was 4. I have vague memories. I didn't go to the fights because I was so young, but I would go out to the training camps because they would set up training camps in like Atlantic City hotels and Las Vegas hotels. And I have memories of being in there in the gyms. I have memories of Tyson getting bloody noses and sparring. And it's funny, like I asked my dad about that way later in life. And he's like, yeah, he was a bleeder just from the nose and sparring. Yeah. But Mike's great. I've seen him a few times in the past few years, especially over my career. I mean, he would come to some of the bigger fights that we would be at. And, I remember the first time I introduced myself to him, again, I hadn't seen him in, 20 something years. And he was excited. You know what I mean? It made me feel great. He stood right up. He gave me a big hug, asked how dad is, asked how my sister was by her name, asked how my mom was by her name.
Wow.
It was a really cool thing. And then I I introduced myself the next time I saw him again, which was a couple months later, same thing. And then the next time I saw him again, which is spread out over another couple months, I introduced myself. I know who you are. You don't need to keep introducing yourself. So, but now it's great. You know what I mean? He's a great guy. You know what I mean? And then he's got the fight this weekend. It's people are excited about it. I'm excited about it. I'm gonna rent it. I mean, how can you not?
Exactly. Yeah. How much is it over there on pay-per-view?
I'm not sure. I want to say $70, something.
That's about standard, isn't it? Normal kind of price.
Yeah, it's pay-per-views are tough. That's why Dazn, we gotta. You can get.
Look, well, we give Dazn a shout out because I saw it the other day. We're launching it, I think, next month in the UK. Yeah. And well, tell us about it. It's going out into lots more countries.
Yeah, global launch is going everywhere. It's exciting times for us. We're coming over to you guys in the UK. I believe it's launching with the Billy Joe Saunders fight. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, that's right. Next weekend. Yeah.
So it's exciting times. You know what I mean? Again, like we're dealing with things the best way we can, but we have very exciting events coming up. Very exciting times. We have the Billy Joe Saunders fight. We have tonight, Friday. Danny Jacobs, and everyone's excited about this. I mean, there's true bad blood in it. I've never seen Danny this fired up for a fight. He's very usually calm and collective, and he's ready to go. You know what I mean? And Gabe even said yesterday, he's out of his element, but I'm excited. Usually Danny's super chill, and it's hard to kind of get him going, and he just fight week, he just wants to kind of be left alone, and he's fired up. You can see it, and I think we're all going to see that on Friday night. But yeah, then Saunders the 4th, AJ returns on the 12th. We have Gennady Golovkin on the 18th, and then we're going with Canelo, Callum Smith on the 19th. So it's exciting end to the year for us with Matchroom, and where it's going to be a busy couple of weeks coming up, but we'll get to relax a little bit for Christmas, and then.
You're going to be all over the place then. So you're in Hollywood, Florida, Hollywood. I think it's Hollywood, Florida, isn't it? Tonight. Yep. Then the next one. So what's the next one for you? Golovkin.
Golovkin is the December 18th. And then
where's that?
That's here, same hotel.
And then the following night is Smith and Canelo, and that's in Texas, right?
In San Antonio, correct.
So you can't be in both places, or will you go the day after?
So we have some tentative plans to bounce around to both. Eddie has to be at both. So we're kind of figuring out the logistics on that. It's going to be some of the UK staff is coming over, which is great. We don't get to see those guys often, so it's always exciting to work with them. And it's going to be a challenge. Tentative plans to go to San Antonio first, early in the week of December 7th, kind of get everything set up there. Bounce back over here to Florida to get everything set up for Gennady's arrival. He'll be coming in like the Saturday or Sunday before, and bounce back to San Antonio to be there. We're going to have a very packed, busy fight week for Canelo Smith. And then Canelo will weigh in with Smith on Friday morning. And then we're looking at trying to get back here in time for Gennady's fight Friday night, to shoot back over to Texas to be there for Canelo Smith on Saturday morning. Like
I said, Eddie definitely works you hard, but it sounds like your passion's there and you enjoy it. If it was me, if I was lucky enough to have that job, I'd want to go to all of them anyway.
Yeah,
so
it's great.
And your predictions then? So I'm assuming, although Danny's fired up, I think Danny's maybe a step ahead of Gabe for tonight, in my opinion.
I mean, it's going to be a good fight. You know what I mean? You can never count Gabe out. He always comes to fight. He's been working with Freddie now. I want to say this is definitely his second straight fight, maybe his third. And he's confident. You know what I mean? He thinks that he has what it takes to beat Danny. And the way Danny is reacting and talking, it seems like they're going to go to war. And that's the best situation for Gabe. I think Gabe realizes that too. Gabe's not going to outbox Danny Jacobs. No one expects him to do that. If Gabe Rosado is going to beat Danny Jacobs, it's going to be in a war. You know what I mean? I have a good relationship with Gabe, great relationship with Danny as well. I mean, if I have to pick, I'm on the promotional side. I'm not supposed to, but I'm going to go with my boy DJ. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. Everyone should be, tuning in. It's going to be exciting.
Excellent. I'm sure they will. And moving forward to the Callum Smith-Alvarez fight, obviously on this side of the pond, we're massively excited about that. So Callum's undefeated, super middleweight world champion. This seems like still a big ask, but it's the fight he's been trying to get for. It's his defining night, if you like. So how do you see that fight going?
Yeah, it's from a fan, I'm excited about it. You know what I mean? It's people weren't sure if Canelo was even going to fight this year. They weren't sure if he was going to get one in, and then everything happened with Dazn, and then the mastermind Eddie came in and structured this deal for him, for the Callum fight, and it's exciting. I mean, you know what I mean? Callum, like you said, he's the best 168 pounder in the world, in my opinion, and Canelo's going right into that fight. There's a lot of things that Callum, has and does that should be problematic for Canelo. I mean, the size, the reach, the power, the speed. Callum is a phenomenal fighter. But you got to tip your hat off to Canelo, man. Like, I mean, he could have came back and fought anybody, especially on a short announcement. People would have just been excited to see him back in the ring and to go in there and fight the true king of the 168 pound division. I'm excited, as a fan. How can you not be? I'm excited for Callum. I'm excited for Canelo. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, well, that's good. What are your predictions there? Do you think Alvarez might be too experienced and maybe too strong?
I don't know. I really don't know. You know what I mean? It's tough to call because, again, like Callum doesn't really do anything bad. You know what I mean? He's a great boxer. I said he's got great speed. He's got great footwork. He's got great timing. He's a big, strong guy. And look, he's fought at the highest level. I mean, he's been in big fights. I think, John Ryder, everyone's kind of judging him off that. John Ryder can fight his ass off. You know what I mean? So he was a southpaw. He brought it that night. Maybe Callum was a little bit unmotivated. I don't know, but I mean, it's going to be an exciting fight. It really, truly is. I'm excited for it. Can't make a prediction.
Yeah, no, fair play. I get that.
Good fight is my prediction.
Yeah. And one last prediction I'm looking for. What are you said you're going to pay for it and you're excited by the Tyson fight. I'm unsure of the rules because at one stage earlier in the week, you couldn't have a knockdown. There were no referees. Now you can have a knockdown. I don't know who decides who wins, but
I don't understand that you can't have a knockdown. I mean, if Tyson catches Roy Jones flush, I think he knocks him out. So how can you tell Roy he can't go down? I mean, if he gets sparked out, I mean, he's going down. So I think
they changed that yesterday. They changed it. You can have a knockdown, but there are no scoring judges. So at the end of, I think it's an 8-rounder. I'm not sure how it's like. I'll just vote at home.
Personally, I mean, again, you tip your hat off to him. He's one of the best fighters of our generation, best fighters ever. Roy Jones. Personally, he beat Vinny Pazienza, who my father trained, who's actually my godfather. Yeah. So I'm pulling for Tyson all the way. And I mean, look, Tyson said, you're built a certain way. He's built a certain way, and the judges and the referees and everyone can say whatever they want, but like when that bell rings, I mean, I think he's coming out and he's going right for Jones. I don't think they're going to look to dance and tap each other. I mean, I think he's going to try to take his head off.
Well, the footage that we've seen online, I mean, it doesn't look like he's lost his speed and his power. It's just maybe how long he can keep going, I guess. But I believe a lot of musicians as well, have they?
What was that?
There's a lot of music going on as well. I think there's some famous artists there.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make a spectacle of it. And I mean, look, I said the same thing, and and I got it from Eddie, obviously. But when we did the KSI Logan Paul thing, we got a lot of stick for that. But I mean, look, this is good for the sport. I mean, yeah, it's a bit awkward, it's a bit weird, but you have these younger kids who never saw or even really knew about Tyson. They just hear about it from their fathers and their family, and now it's like they can watch him on YouTube and they see these highlight videos of Tyson, and they're like, "Oh my God, that guy was crazy!" And now it's like they can see him fight live. And if we can, as a sport, retain any of those fans, even if it's a small percentage, that's good for the sport. You know what I mean? You're getting eyeballs to the sport, and that's not a bad thing, no matter what way you cut it.
I think, again, as you said, Eddie's the master there. You know, he got a bit of stick for the KSI Logan Paul one over here by the diehard fans, yeah? The fact that Billy Joe Saunders, who's a world champion, was chief support to YouTubers. Yeah, I'll give you an example. My 19-year-old son, unfortunately, he's not like me and likes the sport, a bit like you and Dad do. He completely doesn't like boxing. But he asked me one night, he goes, are we watching the boxing on Saturday? I was like, what boxing? He was like, yeah, these two YouTubers. But it made different people watch it, you know. So
for sure. And I mean, I'll tell you, I mean, we had real boxing fans in there as well to see. You know, we had Devin Haney on the card, we had Billy Joe Saunders, we had a packed undercard, but the atmosphere in the arena that night was crazy. And you had a young, sexy crowd. And that's something that Eddie and Frank say often, like, let's make the sport sexy again. Let's make the sport fun. Everyone was there just having a good time. The music was going. It felt almost like an atmosphere in the UK. It was just, people were there to have a great night and have a good time. Again, at the end of the day, yeah, it wasn't, and tip your hat off to the guys. They didn't go out there and make a joke of the sport. They trained their asses off. They put in a full camp. They had, real sparring partners, and they went out there. They gave it their all. You know what I mean? They tried. So yeah, at the end of the day, it was good for everybody.
Yeah, well, look, he's done that over here as well with Anthony Joshua. If you go to an Anthony Joshua fight now, they're all at open air. Well, they will be. This one's behind closed doors, but they're all at open air stadiums with 70, 80,000 people. And when I went to the last one, there were like rows of females, young girls sat there. I was like, this isn't normal. So very
like, and that's what you see in the US. You know what I mean? At other, the NBA and the Major League Baseball and the NFL. People aren't, necessarily fans. They might go to the game. They might not even have an idea what's going on, but it's just an exciting atmosphere. They're going to enjoy themselves, eat fun food, drink tons of beer. And it's just, that's what you hit it perfectly. That's what Eddie and Frank and Matchroom have been able to create in the UK. And that's what we're trying to do here in the US. And, again, it was unfortunate, the situation we're in now, because we started to really kind of pick up steam and pick up momentum. We had the amazing card in Dallas with Mikey Garcia, Jesse Vargas. I mean, that place was packed out. It was fun. It was exciting. And then we had to hit pause for 7-8 months.
Yeah. Well, look, it looks like Eddie's got the right man that side of the water doing the same thing, him and Frank. So well done there. And thanks so much for taking time out to speak to us, Kevin. I know tonight is the fight, so enjoy. And we'll catch up with you soon. Is that okay?
Perfect. Sounds good. Thanks, John.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Cheers.
Bye, guys.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.